Hello, my name is Timothy Davis.
And my name's Lavonica Davis.
Look, we are the couple that got married in 25 days.
And so we understand if you haven't seen that, viewed that video, you can always go back to Blended and Blended to see that video. And what we want to do is kind of continue from that story. So we got married in 25 days. Well, I wouldn't recommend to everybody, that's just our story. And we had a 6 day honeymoon, which was fabulous. But guess what happened? We're at home, and reality is hitting us dead in the face. We're a big blended family, so we have 8 kids all together. So we like to kind of share with you all our dynamic. So at that time, I had 3 girls. My oldest was 15 years old, the middle was 11, and the youngest was 8.
And I had five, I had a 13-year-old son, 12-year-old daughter, 10-year-old son, a 6-year-old son, and a 4-year-old daughter.
Now, I'm just letting y'all know, all 8 did not stay with us. So Tim had full custody. Of course, I had full custody of my 3 girls, but he had full custody of 2 of his kids. So it's going to be a family of 5 when we first get started, and then eventually one more comes. So we were a family of 6 for a little while, and that's kind of like the dynamic that we're working with. So we understand how that complex that blended family can be. And Tim, well, we looked at some stats, and we just kind of like to share some of that information with you all.
One of the stats that we noticed was 50% of families are blended. So that means one out of 2 people that you talk to are dealing with some kind of blended family, maybe a co-worker, friend, family members. They are dealing with that. Also, one of the stats that we would like to share is 60% is predicted for second marriages to fail. The last stat that we want to share on today is second marriages usually fail because of blended families. So those are some of the stats that we just wanted to share with you on today.
And isn't that alarming to know those stacks are that high? And that's why we before you all is not out of selfish gain, but really to put together our experiences. We're not saying we know everything, but to just kind of give you all some tips and some basically some experience of what we went through, and hopefully that you'll be able to implement some of this in your family. So we got 4 points that we want to talk about on today, and the first one is dealing with basically as a couple coming together and having setting rules in place, being able to set expectations, being able to set the standard for the family, coming as a united front. Now, Tim and I, our marriage was based on a God-centered relationship. And that didn't just stop in our relationship, but we brought it to our family. Off the bat, we're establishing that we're Bible believers, and our family is going to be God-centered. Whatever the Bible say, that's what we're going to set our. That's going to be our standard. And so we had got together, of course, before we got married and talked about it, what it looks like, because you got to think about some of your parenting skills came from your previous marriages, and then some of it came from when you were single for a little while, and you got to think about all that different parenting skill. Even from your ex marriage until your singleness, your parenting skills had kind of changed a little bit. And we said, whatever we learn from that, guess what? We have to set up a new dynamic, a new parenting program, a new parenting skills set for our children. And we realized that some of the stuff that we used to do with them, that would not fly with having a big blended family where we're going to have all these kids. And we have to bring some structure into our family. So Tim's going to kind of talk about some of that.
And some of it was like putting rules in place. For example, we made sure that each one of them had chores to be able to do. And they kind of partnered with that. So it wasn't just on everyone had a separate week. We allowed them to partner so everyone would have their opportunity. Then we also put things like bedtimes in place, just some of the small things, but we was able to do that, and that made a big difference. Then also, even with electronics and a television, things like that. We put all of that stuff in place so they can be able to have some structure as we raise them.
And of course, when you're coming up with these things, and when you get ready to introduce this to your family, be prepared. There's gonna be probably some rebuttals, some like, oh my goodness, what is this? But we decided that we're gonna be a united front. We're gonna set this in place, and we're gonna stand strong on it. And of course, you begin to build. You're just laying your foundation, and it's something not working for your family. Like, okay, we tried it, that's not working, so let's kind of throw this one out. But you're just on a foundation. You can always got something to build up on, and it brings down the chaos because you begin to have scripture in your home. That leads us to the second part of the tip we want to give you, is to begin to have family meetings. So now you and your spouse are y'all gonna discuss what you're gonna do. And I can remember our first family meeting was over my mother-in-law's house. We called all the kids in the living room, and we decided to sit them down and tell them, this is what we're gonna do. This is where we're going. So in that family meeting, we were able to discuss the rules and the standards. And then also we began to basically set up to let them know what the family meeting is dealing with, so they had an opportunity to have voice their opinion. As we telling them this, they get a chance to have a voice in it and say, you know what, could we do this, or could we kind of work this out? So we literally put it in place, but we let them have a say so what works best for the family. So even when it came to family meetings with us, we used to say, do anybody got a problem with someone? And our kids did not hold back. If they had a problem with one of their siblings that week, they was gonna let them know. We even said with us, we did something out of line, or did something they didn't understand, that was their time in the family meeting to be able to bring that to us, so we could either tell them why we did it that way, or to correct us. We wasn't far from the correction as well.
And also, we had some fun with it and had some funny times as well because, they took it very serious. And it also gave us a new way of parenting. Now, granted, the thing is about it, everyone during the family meeting then, agreed to everything, and that's okay. But they was able to voice their opinion. And then also, that doesn't mean that Lavonica and I was going to do what they wanted to do, or whatever the problem was. We still was gonna have the final say when it was all over. But we was able to hear them, and that's one of the main thing, is to let them know that we are here, so they were able to come and share with us. So that's some of the things that we talked about and deal with during the family meetings. Not only problems and issues, but maybe new ideas. Some of them had new ideas that they wanted to share, and so we was able to listen during those family meetings as well.
And to be honest with you all, I don't remember a whole lot of rebuttal when we came to this, because how we presented to them. It wasn't just like throw it in your face and this rule one, this rule two, this rule three, but we was able to present it to them that this is going to help all of us, our family. And so we didn't get a lot of rebuttal from them. It's like, okay, they was ready. Our family was excited. It was something new, and they were excited to work through this. Now, were we exempt from problems later? No. We were not the perfect family, but we began to figure this thing out. And it leads us to our third point, which is family prayer. Like I was telling, we're God centered. And so prayer became the vital heartbeat of our family. I believe that it kind of like slowed down for us to experience basically division, confusion, and distractions. And so by having prayer, so our prayer life with our kids was in the morning before they went to school. We got in a circle, we hold hands, and one thing we left, baby, was telling them how when we got our family scripture together, we had a bullseye by doing a mission statement for our family. So you can talk about that a little bit. So we're going to back up a little bit.
So backing up, the mission for the family is we are considered to be the chosen ones. That was our name that we gave ourselves. And we got that from the scripture, 2 Peter 2:9, that we are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. and peculiar people. So basically, what it is, we knew that our parenting style was a little different. We already understood that, but we want to let them know that, hey, look, we wasn't dream killers either. So we want to let them know that they're able to do and accomplish the things that they were set out to do. Just put God first, pray about it. God will give them the way to do the things that need to be done. So when we had prayer with them in the morning before school, we'll say one after we get through praying, we'll say 1, 2, 3, chosen ones. That was just like a slogan that we would say. And then at night, before they go to bed, we would pray with them as well. And so that right there allowed us, that catapulted us to the next level in our bonding because we were a praying and still is a praying family.
Yes. And that leads us to our last and final point is dealing with family dinner. These things that we're giving y'all, they really played a very important role in our family success. And so we had family dinner. Now, of course, we understand we weren't able to do it every night, but a lot of nights we did, especially when they were younger. As we started getting older and they have all different kind of sports and activities, we wasn't doing as often as we wanted to. But when we first got started, we were having family dinner just about at least 5 times out the week. And so with family dinner, we had standards for that. We had rules for that. You were not able to bring an electronic device to the table. And then also you were not having the TV on, just literally genuine conversations with each other. And at times we were able to like have kind of like conversations started. So it wasn't on the surface. It's basically asking them, would you rather questions or what would you do? And that opens up so many ways. I mean, so many avenues you can go with that. We'll be at the table for hours some nights talking about because it just goes so deep. And so them just some things that we did in order to be successful in our family.
And we think you ought to try that, especially with the different conversation starter, because what it'll do is it'll teach them different type of life skills and skill sets. And that's one of the other things during family dinner. You can get some great conversation over good old soul food, fried chicken and cabbages and yams and all that good stuff. Because by doing so, you're able to share not only in a meal, but when you're sharing those conversation with the children. And sometimes their mind would just take you there. And so some of the questions, and one of the things is we might say something just to get them started. We know how to get them started with some of the would you rather. And one of the conversation starter was just say, hey, look, would you rather eat pizza or would you rather eat hamburgers? But that's the only meal that you're able to eat 3 times a day. So you got to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Which one would you pick? Because think about it. If your favorite food is hamburgers, nobody really wants to eat that for breakfast. So they would probably say pizza just because they're thinking about breakfast. So that's just one little tip on that.
And so that's all the tips. And we understand that now Tim and I'm not sure if we told y'all we've been married for 11 years. And so we're still growing. Even when it came to the family dinner, still today, even though we got adult kids now, that when they're at our home, our rule is if somebody at your table with you, you got to put your phone up because that's a conversation you can have. Now, if you're at the table by yourself eating, get out your phone. That's fine. But if you got somebody come sit with you, put your phone up and have a conversation with that person. And so we understand that some of you all are probably in a situation where it's like, hey, I'm not doing any of this stuff. Where do we start? Start where you're at. Start just having a conversation with your spouse to say, okay, what can we do to begin to implement some of these things that Tim LaVonica talk about? You can start where you're at. It's never too late. You can always begin. And so we just hoping that these are some practical tips that we can talk about. We'll be making more videos and to get in more depth about some of the things that we've done. We got so much more to share with y'all. We definitely want to hear from y'all in the comments And we want to see your family successful because we believe that God is still authoring love stories. He's with the blended family. He already knew per se that this was going to happen, that you was going to be a part of the blended family. And he has a plan and purpose for you. And everybody matters. One thing we said, even with our kids, it was no longer Tim kids and my kids. It was our kids from day one. They call us me mom, they call him dad, and that's how it being. But we got some more content to bring to y'all when you got all these extra people coming with aunties and mother-in-laws and things like that. So we're excited for it, and we look forward to seeing y'all soon. Don't forget to like, to share, and to comment, and to subscribe to our channel. And we look forward to seeing y'all again.